we are joined today by Jeanne. Jeanne, nice to see you. And if you could just kick us off with your first name, where you live, and what you do.
My name is Jeanne. I live in Loveland, Colorado, and I'm a technical program manager working on product development.
Awesome, great. And just kind of set the stage for us. Can you talk to us about where you were before joining Career Amp? So, how long were you looking? What was the process, and how was that going?
I've been laid off about 5 times in the past, and it's been getting harder and harder to find a position. So I knew I needed help. I'm very much an introvert, and I knew I needed to do networking, but I didn't know how or what, and I was nervous about it. So the idea of having somebody walk you through it step by step and provide scripts, and also just weekly support was a big selling point for me.
That's great. Awesome. Well, we're so glad and happy to celebrate this new offer that you have, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm curious. So you had been looking, had been laid off before, it sounds like, and really wanted some step-by-step help to help make things easier. And so then you joined Career Amp. And what was maybe one of the first things that you noticed where you were like, oh, wow, this is really great, or this is maybe something that I would consider a win?
I guess I was happily surprised that it was what I expected and what I'd been sold on, because that's always a concern. Um,
Absolutely.
I found you through Facebook, and so I was a little concerned about that. So I did some research on my own to make sure that you were a real company and that the accolades you'd received you really had. Like I looked them up independently. So I think that was just more of a kind of like a deep breath. Okay, it is what real.
Totally. I love it.
I
That's
mean,
great.
I guess I'm a little bit older generation, so finding companies through Facebook, yeah, is a little sketchy for me, a little scared,
Yeah,
scary.
totally. Yeah, it can be scary, right? We don't know each other in person, and you found us on the interwebs, and it's very heartening though to hear that it was everything that you expected, and that is music to my ears. So then you got into Career Amp, you started working the modules, meeting with our coaches, and what would you say was maybe your favorite part or the best thing that you learned as a result of going through Career Amp?
Well, I think there's two real big things that I got from it. One is I learned how to network, and that's something I'm going to take with me for the rest of my career. And even though the first couple ones I was nervous and everything, I've gotten so much more comfortable with it. And more to kind of like you said, like reaching out to a broader group of PMs, not, I don't know, just that I kind of got over that hump, and now I'll reach out to a lot more people and I'm way more comfortable holding the informational chats and stuff. And the other thing that was just really helpful were the Wednesday calls and just seeing that everybody's going through the same exact thing.
Yes, that sense of
Um,
community.
yeah, you really need that. I mean, you've said that before too, is that it's a very emotional process that we're going through, and that helps a lot to have a community, you know.
Absolutely. 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 Great. Well, let's talk about your new role. So you don't need to give away, the company name or anything that if you're not comfortable, but I'm just curious, what's the new role that you landed and what are you going to be doing?
So I'm going to be an engineering program manager, and it's at a target company of mine that's local, a very large company that kind of seemed daunting to get into. But to be honest, a recruiter reached out to me.
Amazing.
So, but yeah, it's a good. I think it's going to be a really good fit 'cause it's doing product development, but it's doing it on telecommunication projects, which I also have a background in. So, yeah, I'm really excited about it, and the people I interviewed with that I'll be working with seemed we found during the interview that we'd all worked at one of the same companies at some point or another, and we just hit it off. So I'm really hopeful that it'll be a really good fit.
Did they reach out to you prior to us redoing your LinkedIn or after?
After, yeah, so yeah, I definitely noticed a huge difference after I updated it. I was getting a lot more people looking at it. And then in the interview, one guy complimented my resume 2 different times.
That's awesome.
And
That's
I'm like, thank you, even though I had nothing to do with it.
well, your experience definitely shone through, but yes, we were really glad
Yeah.
to help you.
And all the forms, all the self-assessments and stuff. Obviously, she put a lot of that in there.
That's great.
But yeah,
That's
that was
awesome.
really good. That was kind of came full circle. I'm like, all right, I'm on the right path. And you know,
Yes, yes. I'm so glad to hear that. That's great. Did any of the modules around interviewing help you though? So like, did you go to Milestone 9 to help prep yourself for that?
yeah. I mean, and I studied my SOAR um,
Stories.
stories, and I worked on the feedback that you gave me on them. And I did the thing you said to look through the job description, and I also asked AI to look through it and give me the top things that it thought that they would be asking, and really focused on that. And it was kind of nice to have because it was a video interview, so I had printed out each of my source stories and pasted them onto a card, and I set them on my laptop, and so I look, you know, it looked like I'm like reading, you know, or not reading, and I'm reading, you know, so it was so helpful to have them. I didn't read them word for word, but I had all the points there, and I made sure I got through them, and I think that helped a lot because
Clearly.
it helped me not forget things.
Yes, totally.
Um,
And the impact that you had and what actually happened.
yeah, and I sounded prepared, you know, like they said, "So tell us a little about yourself," you know, and, you know, I had that prepared.
Great. And then my last question for you, Jeanne, is okay, if someone's watching this, or let's say you were talking to somebody who was on the fence about joining Career Amp, what would you tell them as advice and why?
I would say that if you've heard that you need to do networking and you just don't know how or you're really nervous about it, this will help you. This will help you. It'll hold your hand. If you're an introvert like me, it'll hold your hand. It'll walk you through it. It'll support you in knowing what to do, but also having that community, and you'll learn how to do it and you'll look forward to it. Um, so if I would say if that's what you need, this is definitely the place to be.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Jeanne. Congratulations again.
Thank you.